What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Moonrocks today, the native token to the Moonsters ecosystem. It is the first day of December. Moonrocks is sitting at a price of $0.00234 right now. And before we get into this TA, there's a few things I want to say. First and foremost, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. And secondly, if you're looking for this token, if you want to invest in this token, you type in Moonrocks on Dex Screener. It should be the first token. But to double check, because this cycles through all the time, there are so many scams that come out from Moonrocks. These first two are the real Moonrocks. You can tell because the token contract address is the same. Moon3BC1Y. This is the Moonsters token. This is clearly not. And sometimes, oftentimes enough, tomorrow you check, there's a bunch of other Moonrocks. The next week you check, there's different Moonrocks on here. There's a bunch of scam wannabe Moonrocks. Don't get scammed. It's very obvious. No liquidity, no market cap. This is at least representative of what we have here. But for all intents and purposes, we're not going to use the Radium. We're going to use the Meteora Moonrocks here, okay? Moonrocks, getting on with our bad selves, is the native token to the Moonsters ecosystem. Moonsters is an NFT project, and it's more than just an NFT project. It's really like a community-driven, community-made project founded by the community leader, I would say, the capitan of the community, Soul Saver. Shout out to Soul Saver and the whole Moonsters community. One of, if not the best NFT communities in the space for crypto right now. And I could genuinely see Moonsters here, Moonrocks. The token has a $2.3 million market cap. I could see this market cap exceeding $1 billion this cycle. I could genuinely, we could see $1 billion. We could see multiple billions of dollars. You might be running that in your head and thinking, what do you, wait, it's at 2.3 million. It could hit $1 billion. That's a 500x from here. Multiple billion, that's 1,000. What are you talking about? How could it do this? Yes, every single cycle in crypto, and this is, I've been in crypto since 2015. Every single cycle, there is a project, if not multiple projects, that you hear somebody invested $1,000 and they became a millionaire, or $100 and they made $100,000. Like you hear those stories every single cycle. And I'm not saying, I want to be very clear, I'm not saying that it has to be this one, that it guaranteed 100% will be this one. Maybe at the end of the day, all we get is new all-time highs and that's it. We don't get to a multi-billion-dollar market cap. We get to a $10 million market cap, $100 million market cap, whatever, but not a $1 billion market cap or more. Maybe that's it, and that's fine. But if NFTs come back the same way that they did last cycle, and the Moonsters community keeps doing what it's doing, and Soul Saver keeps hosting these awesome spaces and building the community and bridging to other chains and building on top of this project beyond what it is already, this thing could genuinely see all it takes is one big account in crypto to mention how awesome they think this project is. That's it. I've got 50,000 subs on YouTube, and I'm talking about it now, but I've talked about it beforehand too, and I'm not being paid to talk about any of this. I talk about it here. We talked about it at these lows, said it was a great time to buy, talked about it all throughout this range, talking about how it was a good time to buy. My first interaction, I actually bought the highs whenever it first lasted. I never sold those tokens. Whenever the price comes back, even whenever that doubles or triples, I'm still not selling those tokens. I've only bought more, and I'm net positive with Moonsters right now with Moonrocks, not in the negative. And I even bought the absolute high because of the DCA that we've done. And I want to explain that. I want to explain that thought real quick before we really get into the TA. The people who are buying this project right now are members of the Moonrocks community, are Moonsters people. They are part of the community. And community tokens, community-driven tokens, I believe, I've started to theorize, are going to be the next things that really come up. They're going to be the next things that come up. There's more going on beyond this just being a community-driven project, but the projects that see the most organic and voluptuous growth whenever they get recognition are 100% community-driven. And then they get adopted by the whales in the space, by the big dogs in the space. But the reason why we're focusing on a community-driven project today, which 100% is Moonrocks, the reason why we're focusing on it today is because the whole market is experiencing carnage. Everything is red. The only thing that's green today that I'm holding is Moonsters, is Moonrocks. And it's been green since November 1st. How many cryptos are you holding right now that are up from the beginning of November that are up 256%? This one is. How many cryptos today are up? This one is, and it's up tremendously, 16%. And the reason why is I think that crypto communities might be a safe place. I theorized this. I wrote this on November 21st. I said the only crypto I've bought in November is Moonrocks. It's also the only crypto in my portfolio that is green this month. Our community project's a safe haven. And then there's the contract address. And that was a question. I'm literally thinking, I'm like, that's kind of funny. Maybe it is, because the thought that I had here is is I think this whole market drop is manipulation. I think it is caused by manipulation. Whether you want to call it manipulation or forced selling by the exchanges, whatever it is, there is a coordinated effort of selling pressure from all the major exchanges in the world for crypto, and they all sell at the exact same time, regularly throughout this drop. You can't tell me that that's not manipulation. Today, this effort, as soon as the bell tolled, as soon as it became the 1st of December, boom, we dropped down massively for Bitcoin and the rest of the market, right? But it's not the rest of the market. It's not community projects. The whales can only drop, they can only dump, they can only manipulate the things that they own. And they don't own community projects. The projects that they own are the coins that all the big YouTubers are advertising for because they pay them to advertise. They're paid shills. These are your coins like Polkadot or like Hyperliquid or like Pudgy Penguins or like Aster, WLFI, COAI. You guys remember that one, right? Chain Opera AI, whatever it was. We've been bearish on all of them because we can identify when something is either promoted by the crypto community or promoted by the elites, by the top dogs, by the whales, and all they do is they market it, they pay off their influencers, and then they dump on you. The price never had a chance to increase at all. It was always meant to dump, but it comes out at a high valuation so that no matter what, even if the price is bad, even if the chart is bad, they can still sell because there's going to be people that are buying because they have a bunch of paid shills in the space. Not here. Not here. This is a fully organic project created by good people who genuinely look out for people who are new in the space or don't know what they're doing, or they do know what they're doing, but they're trying to do the best by themselves, do best by their own. And Soul Saver and the community that is the Moonsters community is robust and vibrant and coming more and more to life. They're partnering with all kinds of different people and doing collaborations all over the board. And that's not even the beginning, or maybe I should say it's just the beginning of the things that they have planned. If NFTs make a comeback the way that I think they will in 2026, this project is really postured in a way where it could take the crypto community by storm. And if it does, again, a $100 million market cap, which from here is about a 50x, is child's play. Multi-hundred million, multi-billion dollar market cap, that's the goal. Those are the ones that you don't want to buy a crypto like Aster or like WLFI or Trump coin that comes out at a multi-billion dollar valuation. You want to buy a crypto that's at a low valuation that has the chance to go up there. And again, that doesn't mean that it will. Nothing's guaranteed. I personally, I would be absolutely amazed and blown away if we saw a $1 billion or multi-billion dollar market cap. But I would not bet against it. I would not bet against it at all. I wouldn't be amazed at all or surprised if we saw a multi-$100 million market cap. I thoroughly believe that. But again, all it takes to get to a $1 billion market cap, well, depends on how you go about it. Traditionally, how most people go about it in crypto is you just pay a bunch of YouTubers and you pay the exchanges and you pay a bunch of marketers to hype up your project, and then you release it at a multi-billion dollar valuation, and then you dump on all of your community. That's traditionally how people do things as far as getting to multi-billion dollar projects go in crypto. But the organic way, the hard way, but the way in which the community actually stands to benefit and not the people at the top, not the whales, are projects like this, where you have a chance to enter into the top 100 coin or 100 wallets with a low investment, right? You don't have to, and not financial advice, not a financial advisor. You don't have to put a large amount of money in this thing for it to turn into a large amount of money. I would not, and none of this is advice anyways, but I would not advise that anybody puts their life savings into this, right? I'm not asking anybody to go ahead and throw their whole bank account at this thing. I'm just saying if you're looking for a safe place in the space, I think this project is a good place to go. And again, I had this theory. I literally ran with this theory for a little bit, and not shortly thereafter. Again, this is on November 21st, but this guy, Gordon, says, stop buying rugs and buy into communities on the same day. And I said, he said it, not me. Gordon Gecko is a self-proclaimed multi-millionaire investor in crypto. He's got 846,000 followers. How am I not following him? I like Gordon. I don't agree with everything he says, but I feel like I agree with most of the stuff that he says. And he literally says that that community tokens are. I'm sorry, I'm looking at bullish here. Are a safe haven, right? Stop buying rugs and start buying communities. Which community are we buying into? He's not talking about communities in the real world. He's talking about crypto communities right here, right? Bullish, which bullish is down today, but it's up over November. In fact, I've gone through and I've looked a ton of different community projects. While they might not be robust and seeing 1 billion X moves, they're certainly not dumping and seeing carnage like the rest of the markets are. And why is that? That's because the crypto cabal, the people at the top, the people who are manipulating this market right now, who are doing coordinated efforts and selling large droves of Bitcoin and other cryptos all at the same time in a coordinated effort, they don't own these tokens. The people that own these tokens are people like me who are buying and not selling here, who are buying and not selling here, who are buying and not selling here. No way. Dude, we got much higher prices. The people who accumulated here that set this thing up to begin with, I don't think any of them sold either. There might have been, I'm actually kind of curious. I wonder if there was like somebody who watches my videos who has a lot of money and they literally pump and dump this thing on their own. Because this dump was pretty unprecedented. The pump was unprecedented too, but the whole market dumped here. Let's be fair. Right. Lately, however, the whole market's been continuing to dump and Moonrocks has been pumping. It's been a safe place to invest. And out of all my investments, out of all my crypto plays right now, it's the only one that I'm genuinely excited to watch daily. Right here, we're moving up. Let's get into the TA. Let's stop. I'm going to stop preaching. I'm going to stop buttering the bread. I don't talk about projects like this ever. And I'm talking about, like I talk about Bitcoin Cash like this all the time, but it's a multi-billion-dollar project, right? I talk about Onyx coin like this at various points in time, but it's a multi-hundred-million-dollar project, right? I don't talk about coins like this too often, especially a low market cap coin. The reason I'm so confident, the reason why I'm making all these claims and saying things the way I'm saying is because I'm in communication with the Moonsters community. I'm in communication with the person who started this project. And we're not like best buddies, bros, but we have mutual respect for each other. And we are in open communication. And he's an honest person. And he's not here to rug his community. He's here because he's just like me. He wants to see people in this space make money, have a good time, come together, find something early and build it together. And that's what this is. That's what this is, 100%. Here we are at $0.0023 right now, moving up 16% as of today. And every person, again, imagine there's a bunch of people who've heard this message, or maybe they follow my X post and they're buying at the top, but they're panic selling. You're not in it. You're not the community that I'm talking about. The community that I'm talking about are people who are here to stay, are people who, like me, have literally been through the shit, and we're still buying, and we're still buying. And we'll keep buying through the shit because one day the storm will stop, and one day whenever those clouds part, the sun will shine. And you guys, it's not... These all-time highs don't even stand a chance. They don't even stand a chance. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here, but let's just see. From a high point here to a low point here, Moonsters, Moonrocks right here, I fully expect that we're going to see something on the lines of a 7x move to a 16, 17x move for our next destination. The next wicked pump like this, and it's probably not going to take 5 days. This one might be a little bit more methodical or coordinated. Should take us up to about 1.6 to 4 cents, somewhere up here, which is anywhere from a 7x to a 17x growth from here. That'll be our next consolidation point, and then we still continue to rally. We'll still build from there, right? This is, the way that I like to think of it, is like this is insider price action. This is price discovery, where you get put on the map and other people in the space start to notice you. If they like it, and they will, we go higher. And then only more and more notifications happen. I fully believe Moonsters Moonrocks can see a $1 price, if not certainly something that's at 10 cents and beyond, which from here, we're not even at 1 cent. We've got phenomenal potential. I want to look at the short-term stuff and then we'll zoom back out, okay? And again, the reason why I think community projects are a safe haven is because clearly the rest of the market is being manipulated. And if you want to say that it's not being manipulated, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. In my entire crypto history, which has been since 2015, I never call for manipulation. In my whole time having a YouTube channel, I might have called for manipulation one time other than here on the 10th. But ever since then, we've been calling for manipulation. I don't say that. I never said that about these drops, right? Never said it about these drops or these wicked volatile moments here, or these drops or this dump, or even the very wicked dumps over here. I never said that about any of them. But there is clearly a coordinated effort, and people are paying attention. And all of a sudden today, we get this news about the Japanese cover trades or whatever, and then there's a problem there, so that's why the market's dropping. Why is the S&P not dropping? Why is the S&P actually holding up well? If this is such a big macro thing, how come the S&P is doing fine, right? It's an excuse. We finally get a story on the dump. We didn't have a story here. We didn't have a story at all throughout any of this, but now we get a story. Now we get a story. It's the Japanese trades. It's the Japanese bond market. That's why it's the yields are in a bad position. That's what it is. No, BS. We didn't get a story throughout all this. It's because it's manipulation. It's because something happened with Wintermute. Something happened with the market makers of crypto. and something got thrown out of whack and people lost billions of dollars, and now the market is forced to restructure. Imagine, and I was just talking to my wife about this, imagine that you had somebody who's in charge of market making for the whole crypto space, billions of dollars, and it's a genuine mistake. Something unintentional happened. It was an accident. It was a fault in the system, a bug. Somebody might have intentionally exploited it. It might have been completely unintentional at all. Whatever the case may be, the people who have billions of dollars on the line in this space, they're going to look to other people. They're going to look to another source, another centralized point of authority to handle their funds, to handle their liquidity. It clearly wasn't safe in these market makers' hands. Now there's opportunity, and there's people in the space, smart money, smart people, advantageous, opportunistic, opportunity, risk-taking people who are looking to be that avenue for that money to go to. So the money's flowing right now. We're dumping. We're dumping because of that. There's forced selling because of that for whatever reason. And maybe it's to avoid legal fees. Maybe it's to pay back Wintermoot. Maybe it's for whatever. It's to push long trades out and liquidate all the longs. I don't know what the reason is. But there's going to be restructuring here. And make no mistake, we're not in a bear market. Make no mistake. And we're talking about Bitcoin. We're trying to talk about boosters, but we're not in a bear market. But in these moments where these market makers, where this issue is happening, they're not invested in your community-driven projects. That's my whole point. This stuff will continue to be manipulated to the downside while people will flock to community-driven projects. Projects like Bullish, projects like Pip, and there's meme coins that have communities, but this is not a meme coin. That's why I like Moonrocks, is there's actually something behind it. It's not just an idea. It's not just like SPX 6900 where, oh, price goes up, let's build a community around that. No. It's more than just that. It's more than just that. Price going up builds a huge community. We'll get a ton of community members on the pump. I believe it. But the real community is built here. The real community is built here. And the people who are buying here, like me, they're not selling here. They're not selling here. They're not selling here. We see it for the long term. We see it for what it is. We know what this thing's going to do. And until we're at that peak performance of NFTs this cycle, whenever NFTs make a comeback, and maybe they make just as big of a comeback as they did last cycle, maybe more, maybe less, whatever it is, whenever that phase of the markets happen, at that point, when we're worth 50 cents, 25 cents, $1.10, I don't know how much will be worth, at that point, then we'll start to think about offloading, right? Right? The whole purpose of investing in the markets is to make money. Absolutely, 100% it is. But right now, again, the word that we use is investment, because it's going to take time. Maybe after I make this video, maybe we're down. But we've been trending up since November. I think we're going to continue to trend up. The buy wall keeps going higher. We're shifting higher. And I'm extremely bullish on this project, man. 1 hour time frame, looking at this here. I mean, just imagine you're this guy. Here, look at the volume. The volume is 5.3 thousand, right up here. It says 5.3 thousand. Imagine you sold 5.3 thousand in Moonrocks, and then all it took here was $3,700 to eat that back. You literally had $5,000 of selling, and then you had less buying pressure to push it back because there's more buying pressure than there is selling pressure. It's harder to push the price down than it is to push it up. You don't need as much money to push it up as you do to push it down, because the people who are holding up the floor, they're not selling here or here or here or there. They're not even selling there, bro. They're selling way, way beyond, because there's much further and much more bullish prospects and aspirations to this. 1 hour time frame. The RSI is fantastic. At the moment, you know, you're right at your overbought area. That's nice to see. You just broke out of your downtrend. You had lower lows and lower highs here. You broke out of that, so that's nice. We might see a little bit of volatility. Again, by the time you watch this video, maybe we're down. Maybe we're up. I don't know. You know, whatever the case may be. A little bit of volatility never hurt anybody. MACD looks like it wants to cross back above the zero. That's nice. 4 hour time frame. The RSI is bullish overall. We're getting overbought consistently. You're not getting oversold once. You have lower lows in your RSI while promoting higher lows in your price. Lower lows in the RSI with higher lows in the price, that is called hidden bullish divergence. It's a good thing. Okay. We've got some of the lower readings in the MACD. I mean, look at these histogram levels, right? Typically, whenever we get to where we are here, we don't go too much lower than that. We're finding support right at the zero with our oscillators here. We're actually in a more bullish positioning here than we were even back here. And look at all the growth that happened here. In the same kind of circumstance from this low, we're like right here in what was an overall move to the upside. So, I mean, in that same kind of regard, even from the high to where the next high was, that was a 48% gain in what was like 2 days. Meanwhile, the rest of the market was dumping. Or if they were pumping, they weren't pumping as hard. There was something else that I wanted to say. I'm drawing a blank on it. What was it that I wanted to say? Oh, I wanted to look at the fibs here. I'm kind of curious. Low to high. Low to high here. 0.5 support. You're back above the 236. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. With this close, I thoroughly believe that was the low. This right now, statistically speaking, we are more probable to break above this high than we are to go below this low. And when, not if, but when we do break above that high, we should see prices approach. Let's just see here. I want to take this high here to this low here. When we break above that high, which again, statistically speaking, based off this fib, it's very likely that we will. The expectation there is that we will see anything from 0.028 at a minimum to 0.045 at a maximum. I like this 0.045 area, and ultimately I think that's where we're going to go, is somewhere up there. I'm going to delete these fibs, and then I'm just going to show you. Okay, looking at the daily time frame, somewhere up around there, because on a daily time frame, come on, I don't know what just happened. On a daily time frame, that's where we found resistance before on a closing basis, and where we consistently found support as well before. If we take an all-time high to what was for a while the all-time low, that's also right there at your golden ratio, the 618 there. We have a lower low, so this fib isn't necessarily applicable necessarily, but look, you're still finding resistance at the 382, support at the 236. You had a fake out here. That's what this is, right? You still might show respect at these levels, but I think it's more helpful to use this fib probably from the high to the low when measuring out where we're going further. But the 786 is right here with this golden ratio. It's the golden ratio of what your all-time high to what was your all-time low fib, a very significant fib nonetheless. And then, of course, the price action itself clearly has a little bit of a stalemate right here. It just makes sense that that's the next stopping point. And when I say stopping point, maybe we go there and we come all the way back down here. And we find a higher low and we consolidate, and then we try again later. Maybe we stop there, we consolidate, and then we continue to rally. I don't know how it's going to look. When we got up here, when we made the call here that we would run all the way up to the top ends of this area, which is exactly what we did, I would have thought that we'd go down to the bottom areas here and find support, but we didn't. We didn't go down there. And it made a lot of sense because the 236 is right there. It made a lot of sense to go down there, but we didn't even do that. So again, maybe this consolidation is more bullish than I think. We consolidate maybe between this golden ratio from the high to the low, which is the white line, and this golden ratio from the high to the low, which is this line here. Maybe we consolidate there and then we continue to rally. I don't know how it's going to look. And we don't have to stop there. Maybe we do just push through with enough community momentum, enough hype in the space. We absolutely could. But, just speaking from a strictly technical point of view, 0.045, 0.048, somewhere around there is likely where we're going to go. That's my thoughts. From here, from the current price, and we're up 16% today, that's still something on the lines of a 90% to 100% growth. You want a 2x in the markets while the rest of the market's having a bad time? Do you want Christmas to come early? Moonrocks is the project. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Shout out to Soul Saver. Shout out to Jay. Love you, Jay. And Keith and Host and everybody else. Who else? Hold on. I need to look. B Kim. Shout out to B Kim. I was trying to remember the name. I haven't talked to B Kim in a while. But anyways, take care, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.